Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. My name's Hannah, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive into my TBR. This is going to be kind of a more casual video in the sense that I'm going to kind of give you a deep dive into my TBR and then combine that a little bit with a bookshelf tour. So currently, as it sits, I, like everyone else who exists, wants to read down my physical TBR. I have collected a ton of books. When I first got back into reading as an adult, kind of in like late 2021, I didn't really have a ton of like fun books. I had just gotten out of law school, and so I hadn't been reading really consistently pretty much since high school. I was kind of being a book goblin and collecting all of these books because I was just excited to be in the world of books again. I didn't own a lot of books myself growing up because my parents took us to the library so much that like I just got whatever I needed from the library. But I think having that kind of bit of independence of, I have my own place, I passed law school, I have a big kid job, like kind of manifested in like me just going ham and buying a ton of books. Now, my problem is that I have a lot of space for those books. So this whole room that I'm sitting in, it's our guest room. I'm sitting right across from the bed, so I'll kind of show you around this setup in a bit. This whole room is pretty much full. There's a bookcase on this wall and a bookcase on the perpendicular wall, just full of books, all from my TBR. And then I have a little book nook out in the loft right out the door here, which we'll go take a look at. It also has TBR books. When my space expanded, I kind of also expanded my book collection. I've been doing a much better job at getting rid of books that I no longer want to keep. Originally, it was kind of my impetus, I guess, to just collect everything and hoard it, and that was not a good system. So I'm trying to get better and pare stuff down. As we're sitting here today, I'm filming this on February 9th. I have 688 books on my physical TBR, and that is 71.2% of the books I own. So I've read just under 30% of the books I own. So I like to keep track of that number just because I like to know like the percentage of what I own versus what I don't. I have 966 books, and that counts everything from cookbooks to coffee table books to books that I actually plan on reading to books that I have read. And that also counts like duplicates. So like I have 2 sets of Throne of Glass, for example, and they're both counted in that 966 number. So really, I probably have read less books because I just, am keeping obviously multiple copies of one book. And then vice versa. Sometimes I'll have 2 of the same book. Say I got like the regular edition and later Fairy Loot sent me a special edition of a certain book and I still haven't read it. Both of those books are on my TBR. So in actuality, if you're just going title by title, I have slightly less than 688 and slightly more than 278 of read books that I own. Just an interesting stat. I don't know if you guys are data nerds like I am. You probably are if you're watching this video, but I do like to keep track of things like that just because I think that tells you more about your book collection than just being like, oh, I have X number of books on my TBR. Okay, how did you arrive at that number? Anyway, so these books are mostly ones I've been collecting, like I said, over the last now 4 years, not so much before then. So I still have a couple of books that I had collected in childhood at my parents' house, but for the most part, everything's here. So I think we'll just go around and do kind of a tour of everything. So hang tight. So first off, this is in the guest room. So I usually keep it shut while I'm filming, but if you come up our stairs, this is our 3rd floor. You can kind of see, obviously, around. So if you go in here, this is our guest room. And this whole shelf is a TBR shelf, except for what's on top, which is basically my shrine to Sarah J. Maas. So we've got my original whole set paperback. These are the ones that I actually read because I'm not scared of messing them up. And on top is this 1st edition Assassin's Blade that has annotations for my best friend in it. It's my stuffed Abraxos from Build-A-Bear. We've got my paperbacks of ACOTAR, more paperbacks of ACOTAR, but these have the A Court of Magic, I think is the company, dust jackets over them, which I'm obsessed with. A moment for the dust jackets. And then we've got my Acrylopix hardcovers of Throne of Glass. We've got my Book of the Month hat from last year. And then Crescent City. This is just the box for the ACOTAR set. And then this baby is all TBR books. There's a lot. And so how I organize my TBR is over here. they don't fill out all the way because I have lots of books pulled for my February hopefuls list, which actually you can see in the background right there, but we'll go out there in a second. So they're organized all by author's last name. So we start with A, this is Acevedo, alphabetical all the way down. And then we continue with the alphabetical over on this side. So I think we ended on, G down there, because that's a Monsoon Rising. So the Iguanodon down there, and then start with G up here too. Keep going. So this whole thing is also full of TBR books. Kind of see down, and then the bottom shelf, I just have drawers in there for like storage. And then up top, I'm obsessed with foxes. So there's a lot of stuffed foxes up there. And then I've got Mortal Instruments, The Infernal Devices, Madeline, which was my favorite kids book, one of them, and some various Harry Potter books. I'm in the process of rereading Harry Potter, so there's a few here. And then my other fox is perched on the illustrated editions that I'm very mad they went out of production. And then over here is Captain Sleeping. He's very cute. And then on my windowsill, these are all books that I have received or bought in 2025 so far. So, and they're all organized by author's last name too. Eventually they will go on the TBR shelves, but I have them separated for now because I want to make a video at the end of March that has, here's all the acquisitions I got in Q1 of 2025. So those are all there. I don't have a ton more room to like be storing more, so hopefully I don't get a ton more. Then if we go out here, this is the book nook. And it's got my chair that I sit and read in a lot. And it's got some interesting things here. So primarily, these shelves, these two, are actually ones that I've read already. And then I have two more shelves downstairs, just the like half waist high ones that have books I've already read. And they're organized the same way. So like we start with Lisa K. Adams and go alphabetically by author's last name. This over here is a continuation of the TBR shelves. And then just to show you some organizing, this is unread book of the month and aardvark books. So again, same thing, starts with alphabetically author's last name, this by Chelsea Abdullah, and then goes all the way through to A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young, which is the last one over here. And then over here, we've got a pile of books I've read so far this month. Obviously, this is the whole Shatter Me series, which I have been rereading. And then over here, we have my stack of monthly hopefuls. So we'll see how it goes on this. I'm hoping to finish The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King reread today. Most of these are pulled from my blind TBR. Not all of them, but most. And some of them are Buddy Reads Babes books. So that's kind of my like on deck stack, because when I'm sitting here, obviously you pull from this. And then I do have a book cart in here. And then over here is my bags of books that will eventually be going out to little free libraries. And I add to that periodically. So yeah, that is a deep dive on my TBR and a tour of my TBR shelf. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.